Welcome to the SmileLine podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to give real information from doctors and patients about our SmileLine prosthetic and the sequence of appointments. For more information, check out our website or give our office a call. Hope you enjoy today's episode. All right, guys, welcome back to the SmileLine podcast. I'm here with our patient, Linda. Linda, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
That is great. Linda just had her 90-day appointment, and that means that we delivered her prosthetic roughly 3 months ago. Today, and correct me if I'm wrong, we took the prosthetic off, checked the implants, did a final cleaning, put it back on, and just checked the bite, kind of a one-over on everything, right?
That's right.
That's right. Okay, so we're going to back all the way up, try to remember, and you came to us and you had an upper denture and your lower natural teeth, is that right?
That is right.
And what was the reasoning? Why were you looking for a replacement for your upper denture?
Well, first of all, I didn't like the idea it was covering the whole top of my mouth. And also, after I had had my teeth pulled out and they made my denture, they fit, then all of a sudden, on the outside of my gums, my bones protruded, and they had to cut the bones out. Mm-hmm. Well, that meant that the dentures didn't fit, and they relined them, and it never did work. But the major thing, too, was the covering of the upper part of my mouth. I could not take it. Eating food wasn't good, and you couldn't get any taste, and so I was, that's why I came to HuntLine. I saw the advertising on TV, and I thought I wanted to talk and see what the possibilities were.
Yep. Now, so let's elaborate on that, because I hear it a lot, like in consults, like the covering of the roof of my mouth. Some people don't mention it all, and some people, it drives them crazy. They can't taste food.
Right.
Is that right?
Yes, that's right. I mean, your tongue is supposed to be tasting food, but to me also the palate does. Mm-hmm. And I have a dip or a raised spot in my palate, and it just never fit right.
Yeah.
And everything, and I didn't like putting in the denture cream and stuff like that. I just felt uncomfortable with it. And I thought if there was another possibility, I wanted to try it.
Yep. So common occurrence, we hear a lot of, my denture doesn't fit right, or it fit well and then something changed. In your opinion or your scenario, it was the bone spurs or the bones they shaved back. After that, of course, it's not going to fit.
Right.
Like it was made to fit the other one. So yeah, and then how was your consultation process?
It went very smoothly and everything. Everything was explained to me. There were a few things that I would have liked to be explained a little bit better. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize, after they were in, what all was going to happen. Like a week later, you go back, and then so many, 3 weeks, or you come back again, and everything. And it would have been a little more if it had been explained.
Okay.
But at least I didn't ask all the questions I should have either.
Gotcha. Yeah, part of that is the consultation and the process. We have it ironed out a little better now. Whenever I seen you for a consultation, we were in the phase where we were trying, some patients we were trying to see back the next day, and some patients we were trying to see back a week later, because we were trying to figure out essentially it comes down to soft tissue swelling. So we want to analyze your temporaries to see if, hey, do you like them? Does your bite come together? All those things. And we had been seeing patients always at 1 week. And what we've come to find out is we can actually see them back the next day. They're not swelled up, and we can get a good representation bite, which actually speeds the process up by a whole week because we don't have to wait. And yeah, we were in a kind of a scenario there where Dr. Sam was kind of dictating when we would see him back. So I didn't actually know. Because it would be after the surgery, he would be like, hey, I want to see that patient back the next day, or hey, let's wait a week. So I think we have that ironed out now. I will say, I'll never forget your consultation because me and Linda, we were just talking to bypass the time, and comes out Linda is very familiar with the area that we hunt up in Iowa, and actually knew knew the landowner that
Right.
Dr. Tim purchased a farm from too,
Yes,
right?
it was quite interesting. We had a great conversation about Iowa and the deer hunting up there.
Yep, which is one of my favorite places to go.
Yeah.
It is my favorite place in the world to hunt and go. It's just a beautiful country up there.
Yeah. Well, it made it easier too for me to meet you and know that your interest and everything. So
Yeah. And my dad was also a post carrier and postmaster at a small town, and Linda was a post carrier in a small town. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like how many things are we going to hit on
I
here?
know, right?
All right. So then once you got into the consultation, you got everything worked out. How was your surgery process?
It was fine. I, didn't really know what was going on.
Yep.
And my son was kind enough that I went to his home in Freeburg and stayed there for a while, so they could watch over me
Yep.
and everything. And it, it went fine.
Good.
I mean, there was pain, but that's expected. And
Yep.
everything. And you got to be tough if you're going to go through it.
It is a lot, yeah. It's a lot to go through that day.
Yeah.
It's a surgery that you're going through. Did you have pain during the day, or was it after? Like that night, or like the following days after?
The following days after,
Following
because
days, yeah.
you have enough drugs and you don't feel anything, and then you have to get used to the implants. I mean the pieces that are put in, because that's foreign to your gums.
Yep.
And it did hurt.
Yep.
The first week was not the most pleasant
No.
at all. But
No, I tell patients, that first week, like you're healing soft foods, pretty much liquid foods
Right.
for the first little bit, because your gums are healing.
Yeah.
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 Okay. And then I was looking back through the notes. I think we went back through 1 or 2 different temporaries on your upper right where we tried in new sets. Does that sound right?
Well, I think there was one set, and I'm not sure if there was 2. I'm not sure.
We
but
might have made
yeah.
adjustments. We maybe gave you
think.
the new set and then made adjustments and
I
then made
think
the
so.
final off that right there.
Right, I think that's what it was done and everything. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
How were all your follow-up visits?
they were fine and everything. My friends would always ask how things went, and stuff, and what I was able to eat and what I wasn't. And so the standing joke was that I bought instant potatoes, and they said they're real instant potatoes, and they all laughed at me. Well, what else would they be, And it was like, well, that's become my staple is, real instant potatoes.
Hey, I'm not above instant potatoes. We
Yeah.
got those in our pantry at home, and they're pretty good sometimes.
Yeah, well, I still eat them. I'm addicted to them now.
Yep.
So.
And then how was your delivery?
It was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very smooth and everything. And, everybody was very nice and kind. And I really am thankful that I did it.
How are you doing eating?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm back. I'm starting on solid food. I had been and everything. There's some things that are a little more difficult to eat,
Yeah.
but I think in due time they'll be, okay. Hamburger and chicken is fine, but sometimes the other meats I have a little bit trouble with.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
I'll get used to it.
Yep. Yep. How about the cleaning and maintenance? That was one thing,
Yeah.
because I know, you hated the food getting stuck underneath your
Right.
upper denture.
Right.
Now your palate's exposed.
Right.
So we got rid of that. Kind of compare the two from a cleaning standpoint, because I know the SmileLine, it's a different way of cleaning.
Right. It's the water pick. And I've had to get used to it because it's high powered. And it, like when I had the checkup this time, was like, hey, they're clean, and my gums were all clean.
Oh, that's great.
And everything. There was one sore spot, but it was raised in the middle of my teeth. And, they smoothed it out, and she said,
Yeah.
you should have no problems now, because that was the only sore spot that kept being sore.
That's good, because we see a lot of people at their 90 days or, I mean, even at delivery from when they're temps. And it's kind of a work in progress because we're working with them to show them how to clean it. And sometimes we see them, they're pretty dirty. So that's great to hear that it was clean. So that means you're doing a good job.
No, I'm want to take care of these teeth. They cost me a lot of money.
Yep. We want them to last as long as you need them.
Yep, right, and stuff, so.
All right, Linda, any closing thoughts before we close out the podcast?
Well, I just want to thank HuntLine. I was very happy with them. You know, I mean, I had good results, and I want to thank you because you were very nice and understanding, and we had a good conversation.
We did. I appreciate that.
And everything, and I hope everything goes well with HuntLine.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you.
And guys, catch us back here next week, and we'll have another podcast.